Hi everyone, I'm Jody Barber, and this presentation is a summary of the research paper I have been working on full-time since January, but really since I started the MALAT program. I chose to do my research on technology implementation support for secondary science teachers, specifically face-to-face classrooms, and specifically for British Columbia, although the results could be used in other contexts. In this presentation, I've included the research context, the research question and how it evolved, the purpose of the research, the theoretical frameworks and methodology chosen, and my findings. I synthesized my findings into a technology implementation framework, which I've included as well, and at the end of the presentation, there's also a list of references. So why did I focus on this particular topic? Well, it is contextual for me. I'm a secondary science teacher in BC. Additionally, British Columbia has developed a new curriculum for K-12 teachers to implement. And with this new curriculum are new ways of teaching, a greater focus on competencies as opposed to content memorization, and a greater emphasis on teaching and learning with technology. For some teachers, this won't be much of a stretch, but for many it will. K-9 teachers were required to start full implementation of the new curriculum in September of 2016, and grades 10 to 12 teachers will do the same in September of 2018. While some people might start their MALAT program with a research question in mind, for me, the development of the research question was something that started with my first course in the MALAT program and continued as I proceeded through the program. So much learning happens in every course, and for me, that allowed me to slowly develop a research question that was contextual for me, interesting to me, something that I could get excited about spending a lot of time with, and something I felt would hold value for my colleagues and others when it was completed. The question I decided to research is, how might teachers be supported in implementing technology in face-to-face secondary science classes? I organized my readings under the supporting questions, the questions that need to be answered to help answer the overarching question. I have to say that all the research and reading I did for this paper has been valuable for me as a teacher. I found it all very interesting, although some of it was peripheral to the research question, which you really do have to stay focused on. So I have a whole bunch of papers bookmarked for summer reading for after I finish the program. The purpose of this research was to assist and inform secondary science teachers in BC with pedagogically sound technology implementation that aligns with the new curriculum. I went into this hoping to create some sort of framework that could be used to support teachers with technology implementation that was good for student learning. This time of curricular and for some pedagogical change seemed like a good time for this work. I chose two theoretical frameworks for this research. The first is the technology acceptance model. This one made sense to me as teachers face a barrage of professional requests on their time, including the latest and greatest methods of practice. This framework views teacher attitudes about the efficacy of technology in their classrooms and value for the time they need to spend on learning it as critical for successful and sustained implementation. And so the articles I read and the conclusions I came to were viewed through this lens. The second is social constructivism theory. This is a theory that informs the pedagogy of the new curriculum, and so I was looking for evidence of practices that aligned with this theory in the articles I read. This includes collaboration, inquiry, authentic learning, and problem-based learning, both for teacher learning and student learning. Using this lens was important for me so that I could ensure any recommendations I formulated were aligned with BC's new curriculum. The methodology I chose to use for this research paper was a qualitative metasynthesis. All the work I read was qualitative research or had a large qualitative component. After looking into the benefits of using a metasynthesis, it became clear to me that it was the best choice, as it is exploratory and generates new perspectives, insights, knowledge, and understandings. I was hoping that these new insights and understandings would assist with the development of a technology implementation framework. So after a lot of great reading, some key points became clear. Social constructivism and technology use in science classes are intertwined, with each benefiting the other. Despite the prevalence of technology, most of it is still not used for learning. It is used for lower order thinking, searches, word processing, and administrative tasks. Teachers want to use technology for inquiry-based learning, but are often not sure how to go about doing so. Teachers need support for implementing pedagogically sound technology for learning, but it needs to be support that is enduring, at least 2 years in duration, and they need time to practice, experiment, collaborate, and adapt. It needs to be an iterative process. And while I was thinking I would be creating a framework that focused on teachers, the literature revealed that support needs to be broader than that, starting at the district and stakeholder level of education. And so this indicated a systems approach to support for technology implementation. And so what I've developed from my synthesis of the literature is a 3-phase framework for technology implementation that takes a systems approach, starting with a stakeholder engagement phase, moving to a planning phase, and considers the importance of sustained support as indicated by the iterative teacher practice phase. I think this framework will be of value to teachers of other subjects and grade levels, as it takes into account teaching context and content, and also different teaching environments given the systems approach. And so this is the framework, the sustained implementation with a systems approach framework. And the most outer ring is the phase 1, the stakeholder engagement phase, which considers the district administration and stakeholder policies, visions, beliefs, objectives, available funding, and local access. The second phase is the planning phase that considers the amount of time that will be available, the pedagogy, content and context, authentic learning environments, and the teacher training. And finally, implementation phase, which is an iterative teacher practice that considers collaboration, learning, implementing, feedback, and reflection. And here's a list of references I used in this presentation. So thank you for watching, and to all the 2017 cohort, all the best on your MALAT journey.